From the devastating waves that instantly sweep away entire settlements to the mysterious discoveries capable of reshaping our understanding of the past, tsunamis truly shock the imagination. Today, we will immerse ourselves in the realm of the most unexpected finds ever made after destructive tidal waves. And rest assured, each point conceals its own incredible story, some of which will make you shudder in astonishment. Stay with us until the very end. You are in for facts capable of overturning your perception of nature's possibilities. Sometimes a tsunami can wash ashore something so enigmatic that people's imagination simply explodes. This happened in a coastal area of Japan struck by a powerful tidal wave. Amid the wreckage and debris, a strange white creature was discovered, which from a distance looked either like a gigantic fish or some mystical sea monster. At a moment when everyone was already in shock from the catastrophe, this finding generated even greater alarm and debate. Some insisted it was an exceedingly rare deep-sea species. Others claimed it was a beluga whale or a giant squid. And, of course, conspiracy theorists argued that it must be either a new species or something extraterrestrial. In the end, experts leaned toward the conclusion that it was merely the carcass of a large marine animal, heavily deformed by time and water. But the fact remains, in times of disaster and panic, any unexpected discovery can frighten and spark a whirlwind of rumors, so powerful is our thirst to explain the unexplained. Sometimes the destructive forces of nature can turn into unexpected help for archaeologists. During intense storms or tidal waves, centuries-old sediment layers may wash away from coastlines, revealing what was thought to be lost forever. In one coastal region, where scholars had for years been searching for the legendary Roman city of Neapolis, the natural element lifted the veil of mystery. After the mightiest surge of waves, fragments of ancient streets, building remains, and even relics from that era began to emerge. Historians literally found a second wind, for thanks to the accidental displacement of water masses, they were finally able to launch large-scale excavations. Researchers uncovered not only foundations and sculpture fragments, but also astonishing everyday artifacts of ancient inhabitants. It turned out that part of these ruins belonged to a grand architectural complex previously described in old chronicles, yet long dismissed as legend. Thus, sometimes even a tsunami can not only destroy, but also offer humanity the key to unlocking the secrets of the past. There is in this world a deep-sea creature capable of baffling anyone, the oarfish, also known as the ribbon fish. It is an extraordinarily long and unusual fish rarely encountered near the surface. Yet sometimes, after powerful waves generated by earthquakes, locals find these creatures on the shore, and the phenomenon has long been regarded as an ill omen. On one occasion in Japan, not long before a catastrophic tsunami, several oarfish were washed ashore in succession. Superstitions immediately flared. They said that if a deep-sea dweller chose to appear to humans, then grave misfortune was imminent. And indeed, sometime later, one of the most devastating disasters claimed many lives. Modern scientists explain this phenomenon by possible tectonic activity influencing deep-sea fauna behavior. But observing such a massive, silvery, and bizarre fish stranded on the shallows remains eerily unsettling. By the way, the oarfish holds an honored place among the largest bony fishes on the planet, and its appearance on land always spawns rumors and chilling legends. Some even claim that these creatures, like marine barometers, sense the slightest shifts in the Earth's crust and are driven to the surface. When the natural disaster subsides and the water retreats from the coast, people sometimes imagine all sorts of things. One such discovery occurred in China, where after a tsunami, a humanoid alien was reportedly spotted on a beach. In a widely shared video, a person held what appeared to be a small body with limbs. The internet promptly exploded with speculation. Some claimed it was an unidentified creature from the ocean depths. Others insisted it was an extraterrestrial, and still others saw it as a viral marketing prop. Later, it became clear that the footage was likely fabricated and had nothing to do with alien technology. Yet this case once again demonstrated that after natural cataclysms, people are all too ready to believe any sensational claim. Where there is chaos, there is always room for rumors and hoaxes. Continuing the stream of incredible stories. Imagine that after one of the fiercest tsunamis in Japan, a small school boat was carried across the ocean and eventually discovered in California. Remarkably, this simple vessel managed to traverse a vast expanse of water, its hull adorned only with shells and seaweed. It took years for it to drift to the United States coast, and its arrival was quite unexpected. Beachgoers stumbled upon the half-worn craft and called in specialists. When experts examined the vessel, they found inscriptions in Japanese that revealed the name of the school and the region devastated by the disaster. The fate of that little boat became a symbol of the unpredictability of ocean currents and the global reach of a tidal wave's aftermath. In the end, American officials contacted Japanese representatives to relay the astonishing news. For many residents of the afflicted region, this was a poignant reminder of the tragedy, yet also a sign that some things endure against all odds. Perhaps nothing kindles the imagination more than a deserted ship drifting alone on the waves, and such an event really occurred. After a destructive tsunami in Japan, a massive fishing trawler was swept away. Without its crew or any means of communication, the vessel drifted across the sea until it was sighted off the coast of Canada. It seems effortless for a tsunami to tear a multi-ton ship from its moorings and hurl it into the open ocean. The ghost ship caused widespread alarm and countless questions. Were there hazardous materials or fuel aboard that could harm the environment? Authorities decided to conduct a thorough inspection. The ending was predictable. The trawler was deemed unsafe and subsequently sunk in a controlled operation. Yet the fact that such a colossal vessel could slip across half the globe underscores the immense power of nature's fury. Next comes another unusual tale of marine life visiting distant shores by the whim of the waves. Occasionally, scientists discover fish in waters far outside their natural range. For example, the Japanese striped knifefish suddenly appeared in Monterey Bay off the California coast. At first, experts were baffled. How could this species cross the vast Pacific Ocean? After comparing the evidence, they concluded the fish may have been carried along with seaweed or debris. It seems likely that unpredictable currents triggered by a strong tsunami, which destroyed its native habitat, served as a kind of transport. Thus, a single fish became a scientific sensation and a memorable exhibit at a local aquarium, demonstrating how fragile and changeable the boundaries between marine ecosystems can be. One of the most striking demonstrations of a tidal wave's power involves a massive concrete pier that once stood off the Japanese coast and was later found off the shore of the United States. Imagine a colossal structure longer than many ships, yet torn from its anchors and carried across the ocean. Nearly a year after the monstrous tsunami, this heavy rectangular block, inlaid with metal fittings, washed up on an Oregon beach. Experts confirmed that markings on its surface identified the Japanese city from which the pier had been ripped. Many were astonished not only that this behemoth crossed the entire Pacific, but also that it remained largely intact. This floating package vividly illustrated the force a tsunami can wield, capable of transforming an enormous construction into ocean-borne debris. Shortly after its discovery, specialists grew concerned about ecology, since marine organisms and seaweeds might have hitched a ride and posed invasive threats. Rigorous measures were needed to monitor the structure and prevent biological invasions. Natural disasters can also wash up items one never expects to see. In one Japanese port city, after the waves struck, several backpacks filled with large quantities of illegal substances were found on the shore. The estimated value of the haul reached tens of millions of dollars in the local currency. It is believed that amid the chaos, these packs were swept into the water from a vessel or coastal stash, and they drifted freely with the current. When people realized they were facing a criminal treasure trove, police were summoned immediately. In the end, the discovery was recognized as one of the largest such finds in Japanese history. Interestingly, among drug traffickers, the loss of such a cargo represents a colossal blow to criminal organizations. Yet it is simplest to admit that nature itself dealt the cards, casting contraband straight into the astonished townspeople's hands. Sometimes justice takes its own extraordinary course. Another astonishing story involves a fragment of a sacred structure. After a gigantic tsunami struck Japan's northern regions, a wooden beam from a torii gate was discovered on the coast of Oregon. A torii is a sacred gateway leading to a Shinto shrine or temple. When people spotted the intricately carved piece, they called in specialists in Japanese culture. It turned out the beam belonged to a shrine in the devastated region. Locals in Japan felt both grief over the disaster and pride in their tradition's resilience. The artifact was soon returned home, an act of respect and a symbolic reunion with cultural memory. Hurricanes and tsunamis hide many surprises, some dating back to distant eras. On a South Carolina beach following a powerful storm, a couple searching for shells stumbled upon genuine artillery shells from the time of the Civil War. Of course, discovering century-old munitions is not only fascinating, but also potentially dangerous. A bomb disposal unit was dispatched, warning residents that the charges might still be live. Fortunately, the risk was minimal, and the shells were safely neutralized. But how uncanny it must feel to become an unwitting participant in historical events. Once again, storms and tidal waves can unearth objects that have slumbered on the ocean floor or beneath the sand for centuries. In one Pacific state of the United States, ocean monitoring authorities tracked everything that washed ashore for years after a mega tsunami. One day, they discovered a signboard, an official placard, from an entire Japanese village. This plaque, made of durable material, had braved the immense journey and arrived on foreign shores. Experts quickly deciphered the inscriptions and identified the community to which it belonged. For people in Japan, its return was like rediscovering a piece of home. The sign now adorns the restored village as a reminder that despite all losses, fate sometimes offers a chance to reconnect with the past. Sometimes inexplicable phenomena involve not small items, but massive constructions. A huge marine buoy, originally anchored in a fixed position, suddenly broke free during severe storms or a series of waves capable of forming a tsunami. After a long drift, it washed up in Florida. Experts determined that the buoy, complete with electronic gear, had carried living organisms on its hull. Coastal authorities feared the migration of invasive species that might traverse the ocean with this metallic traveler. The incident sparked intense interest from environmentalists and the Coast Guard, underscoring how ocean currents driven by powerful weather systems can overcome even the strongest moorings. Indonesia was not spared astonishing incidents tied to tidal waves. On one occasion, the captain of a massive cargo ship realized something was wrong when his vessel began to be drawn toward the shore. An underwater earthquake had triggered a tsunami. In the aftermath, the 500-ton ship was literally spat ashore by the wave. Not only did it damage several coastal buildings, but it also became stranded far from the water. The crew could only wait as rescuers and shipping company representatives devised a plan to refloat or dismantle the giant vessel. This example vividly demonstrates that even multi-story structures cannot withstand the force of nature's wrath. Sometimes the power and unpredictability of tsunamis are revealed not by debris, but by what remains intact. In one province, severely struck by a devastating wave in the mid-2000s, a mosque survived. Everything around it was leveled, yet this sacred site endured. For the local population, the mosque became a symbol. People who had lost everything saw in it the hope and faith needed to rebuild their lives after a terrible disaster. Some researchers believe the building's survival owed to special architectural techniques and placement. Yet many locals interpret it as a miracle. Over time, the restored structure has become a tourist and pilgrimage destination, drawing curious travelers and worshippers alike. The dream of uncovering mythical mentions of ancient settlements submerged for centuries drives many archaeologists. When a catastrophic tsunami struck India, it reshaped the coastline, but also gifted the world a unique find. As the water receded, it partially revealed ruins of old structures, columns, wall fragments inscribed with symbols and patterns. Local historians, long aware of legends about the sunken city, were astonished to see tangible proof of its existence. Further excavations revealed that this site was not merely a settlement, but a major ritual center with religious edifices. Although the tsunami wrought immense destruction in the grand sweep of history, its blow allowed humanity to touch a mystery once thought irrevocably lost. It may seem that an ordinary ball is no remarkable beach find, yet sometimes behind the simplest objects lie touching stories. In Japan, after a terrible tsunami, one family lost everything. Their home was completely destroyed, and their belongings vanished. Many months later in Alaska, someone discovered a heavily weathered soccer ball marked with initials and dates. Recognizing the Japanese inscriptions, a local handed the find to specialists. They tracked down the family, who revealed that the ball had been a gift from a close relative and cherished by a teenager as a memento of their favorite pastime. That such a small token could return home after so many months and thousands of kilometers moved people around the world. It became a symbol of hope and proof that even the faintest ray of the past can find its way back. Sometimes among the debris one finds truly legendary items. After one of the most powerful tsunamis, a Canadian beachcomber spotted a large container ashore. Inside lay a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Although the iconic bike had been ravaged by salt water and time, some parts and its identification number remained legible. Experts quickly determined the owner lived in a heavily affected region of Japan. When offered a free replacement, he refused, believing it inappropriate to accept, while so many others had lost even the smallest possessions. Ultimately, the unique Harley became a museum exhibit, symbolizing not only its incredible journey across the Pacific, but also the depth of human humility and solidarity. Imagine a tranquil morning on a beach. You decide to walk along the shore before the crowds arrive and suddenly stumble upon something utterly unimaginable. A 3-meter-tall Lego figure bearing the inscription that it is no more real than you are. This did indeed occur in Florida, the creation of a Dutch artist known for unconventional public sculptures. His works around the world have sparked intense debate in the press. But why a Lego person of such colossal scale? No one can say for certain. Perhaps it is a commentary on the fragility of perception or simply absurdist art. What matters is that such a find ignited a wave of curiosity and speculation. When nature or ocean currents deliver surprises, they can be truly astounding. Such are the incredible consequences of tsunamis, Destructive waves carry away massive structures, personal belongings, and rare treasures, and sometimes grant historians astonishing discoveries. Yet amidst all the spectacle and sensationalism, we must not forget the true tragedy behind each of these cases. Thousands upon thousands of people lose their homes and, at times, their loved ones when confronted with the unprecedented might of nature. Still, among the wreckage we find things that restore hope and again demonstrate how unpredictable and powerful life can be. Stay with us. This world is ever full of mysteries, and perhaps one day the ocean will once more present a surprise that changes our notion of the planet and ourselves.